Hello, welcome back to the continuing lecture in investments. So in our last video, we did example 11.2 for immunizing uh, the portfolio, right? In other words, matching the duration of our uh, asset portfolio with our obligation or liabilities. But that was, basically immunizing, right, in year one. But over time, as I said, if interest rate changes, right, and with the change in interest rate and uh, uh, the together with as interest rate changes, automatically, and naturally duration also changes. So it warrants rebalancing. It warrants rebalancing, right? So now let's go into year two in this example. So it is, excuse me, I was just drinking something because I was choking. This is example 11.3. So rebalancing of example 11.2 in year two. So now the portfolio in year two, still the same coupon. Now still, is it still fully funded and immunized in year two? Now the liability, both liabilities and time horizon for both assets and liabilities um, uh, went down by 1 year because we are 1 year closer to maturity. And our fund future value of liability is still 11K, but just 1 year closer to maturity. So and our bond fund should also be 11K with now 6 years left. I mean, originally liability is 7 years, right? Our timeline is 7 years. 1 year, 1 year later, 6 years to our maturity, and our asset side, right? Bond fund should still come to 11K, and in the future value, right? And it consists of zero coupon, 3 year zero coupon, and perpetuity, right? And the weight was 50-50 at the time, right? Now, but then think about it. 1 year later, there will be previously it was 5,000, 5,000. Now it is 5.5K and 5.5K because 1 year later, think about it. Is it? Yeah. 1 year later, think about it. Zero coupon will have earned. I mean, a zero coupon. Zero coupon is valued higher because we are 1 year closer, right? And the perpetuity value, right, is now 5.5 also because, with 50-50 weight, to to reach 11K, right? The perpetuity would have to be valued also 5.5. Now, zero has 2 years left to zero, because zero coupon was 3 years. Maturity of zero coupon was 3 years, so zero has 2 years left. And the obligation, our, this is, of course, our asset side, and our liability side, right? Which is a liability. Liabilities. Which is our GIC. Okay, and this is our assets. Which is, bond, zero coupon bond fund plus perpetuity. Now, again, I was probably, not very clear when explaining, this. It is obvious our liability, has grown to 11K, because it has to it has earned 10%, right? But then on the asset side, right? Zero doesn't grow. I mean, if you sell it, of course, if you sell it at the point, the price would be closer to a par value. And of course, if you discount it, definitely, it would be, closer. But this breakdown is simply based on the growth of the liability side. In other words, our obligation is 11K, and how would 11K, how is it constructed? How is 11K? How would 11K break down? Because the weight was 50-50 originally, so it would have to be 5.5K in the zero and 5.5K in the perpetuity, right? But then, can you guarantee that that would be the value of these, in year two? So the point is, the value of these assets must have changed because we have less time, 1 year less to maturity. So we have to recalculate the balance. That's why it is called rebalancing, right? And originally, think about it. We set the weight, we set the maturity equal to 6, because maturity of our obligation is 6 years. There's only 6 years left, right? Previously, 7 years. So using the same equation that you used to value to compute the weight. And now 0 has only 2 years left, right? And we know the duration of perpetuity was 11 years. Was it 11 point something, right? Yeah, it's exactly 11 years, right? Duration. Zero's duration is 2 years because zero's duration is the same thing as t, right? And 11 years is the duration of perpetuity. I would rather do it this way. And this one is the duration of perpetuity. It's so hard to write it. I will just put perp. Okay. And then we set it equal to 6 and solve for the weight. And if you do that, the weight comes to 5/9. So it's not, exactly half now, right? It's more than half. So 5/9 of 11K is 6,111. So you have to put 6,111 in zeros, right? Zero coupon. And the remainder is 4/9. So 4/9 of the 11K into perpetuity. But think about it. You already have 50% in 5,000 in zeros and 5,000 in perpetuity. So how would you rebalance it like this? That there's only one thing you can do. You sell. This must happen first. It says you sell $111.11 of perpetuity, right? And buy zero, right? For that amount, right? So you have to put entire coupon in zero. And entire coupon is what? $1,000, right? Okay. So, I mean, this can happen first, but because you're buying, right? It's action for zeros, right? Sell first, this much, 111 of perpetuity, and put, then 1,000, and use that to buy zeros, which is, 0.111K, right? I'm not going to write more. 0.111K, right? And then add them together. That comes to, right? So you increase zeros by 1.111K, right? You increase zeros and decrease, perpetuity by that much, right? Now, One thing we have to remember is that the transaction isn't for free. I mean, for every transaction, buy and sell, right? There's transaction cost. So the continuous rebalancing is not feasible, right? So the rebalancing is less frequent in reality. Um, yeah, that's why I said, previously, the rebalancing is not annual, right? Normally you do annual rebalancing, but um, it could be less than annual. It could be, not less than, but greater than annual. I mean, you can do it, every 2 years, biannually, or triannually, because every rebalancing, each rebalancing is not costless, right? It is costly. Some transaction cost. Now, because continuous rebalancing is not possible, right? Not feasible, right? There are other, uh, there are strategies, to make it relatively, simple. Um, so remember, immunization is not really a passive strategy because you have to rebalance, right? Every year or every 2 years, right? Um, and that the act of rebalancing is already, it's not passive, it's active, right? So to make it truly um, passive management strategy, you can use cash flow matching, okay, which is a simple solution to rebalancing. What is cash flow matching? Matching cash flows from fixed income. So if you um, simply put all that money into uh, simply buy zeros, right? With future value equal to obligation, right? Value of obligation. Um, then because the zero coupon bonds duration is the same thing as um, maturity, right? And at maturity, future value of zero coupon and the obligations are matched, right? So no need to rebalance, simply at maturity, and everything is, future value of zero will be exactly equal to that, right? Um, and um, dedication strategy is a multi-period cash flow matching, right? So basically, you buy zeros or coupon bonds with cash flow equal to obligations. If it is positive, no need for rebalancing. If it is significantly positive, right? If it is negative, uh, and then constraints, uh, what I'm saying is, positive side. This means positive side, right? Positive aspect. Uh, oh yeah. Pros, in other words, pros. Come on, pros. And this means, cons. The negative side is that there are constraints on bond selection, right? That means, there aren't that many there aren't that many bonds, that meet your criteria, right? So that's why it is not widely used, right? Actually, dedication strategy is not widely used. Um, this makes it constraints on bond selection. What I'm trying to this makes it see this is the problem. Okay, let me make it smaller. Now it fits. Okay. Oh no, no, no. It's just, a little uh, housekeeping issue. Ah, come on, don't make me. Okay. Now, so why there are constraints on bond selection? Of course, there will be to meet the um, for multi-period, to meet that to match obligation uh, and your portfolio without rebalancing. Obviously, first of all, it's impossible to immunize with undervalued bonds. Okay. Um, and in this case, now why undervalued bonds? First of all, the the portfolio manager or the firm, like insurance company, they want they always want to make something out of this. I mean, think about it. If you exactly match your asset value with future value of your assets and future value of your liabilities, when you pay out, right, at maturity, you have nothing left. Make sense? So, what's the point of being uh, a portfolio manager if you cannot make money out of it? So that is a very crucial issue. They want to make profit out of this. So to make profit, then you would always have to go for undervalued assets. But to immunize with undervalued bonds only, right? That is not possible, right? It's impossible. And then the interest rate change becomes irrelevant, right? These firms want to immunize using undervalued bond exchange. So they are they are trying to trade off, right? It's a trade off between exactly matched that exactly matched uh, portfolio with a superior return. In other words, it's an exchange between exact and easy dedication for superior returns, right? And it becomes almost impossible. Now, also, it's impossible to cash flow match pension perpetuity. Why? Perpetuity is, in pension, think about it. You have to pay out for most pensioners, if you're, if this is a pension fund, it will have to pay out for 30 years, 40 years, for a very long time. And since perpetual payout of income to current and future retirees requires purchase of fixed income securities with maturity equal to 100 or greater than 100 years. Yeah. I mean, current retirees, they may have 20 to 30 years, but there will be future retirees who haven't even retired just yet. But, for them, there will be, another 30 years, um, from now on or from 10 years later. So to match that, you need fixed income securities with, maturity greater than 100 years. So let me find the symbol greater than equal to. Yeah. Do I have greater than equal to, greater than or equal to? So there you go. Okay. With maturity greater than equal to 100 years. Because such securities do not exist, right? So dedication is not feasible, right? Think about it. Um, the longest currently the longest maturity treasury, right, or corporate years, right? So finding a fixed income security with, which pays out for longer than 100 years. 100 years ago, there were bonds like that, especially when war bonds, when there was a war, when the 19th century, Russia, France, Prussia, before Germany, right? Prussia and Austria, when they were all at war, they sold bonds. Russia as well sold bonds, that war bonds that had like 100-year maturity. Not anymore, nothing like that. Now, but compared to that, immunization is easy. It's not such a not such a big deal, because you just need to rebalance. Immunization is relatively easy. If interest rate is 8%, right? Duration of perpetuity is like this. Buy zeros with 13.5 years. With a bond value equal to obligation. I mean, that's basically a cash flow matching. I mean, right? All righty. So that's pretty much everything about immunization, right? Um, so our next topic will be convexity, and this is quite the topic requires your mathematical foundation in calculus. So uh, we're gonna talk about this in our next video. Okay. All righty. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stop recording.